What's up, everybody? I am Sniggenhoff, and we are back playing some more Tyranny. In the last video, we killed Graven Ash. And now, we are going to go pick up the spear, or the javelin that I had made for myself, and then we're going to go take on Tunon. And then I think the game's going to be over at that point? Either that or Kairos herself is going to come after us. But I wouldn't be surprised if, Kairos just remains a shadowy figure for this whole game. I don't know. Um, we will see. I've really liked, I feel like the game got a little slow right after Act 1 ended, but then once I got into the middle of Act 2 and through there, this has been great. All right, so I have Scorn now, plus these. Can you forge anything else for me? Alchemist gloves. Commander's plates. I think we're just gonna leave it at that and go. Well, we're gonna rest real quick, but then we're gonna go. Less armor pen, but more accuracy, more DPS, more recovery. So yeah, that should be good. Rest up. It's time. To the Bastard City. Tunon's court. It's all led back to here, where it all started. Final judgment. Let's go ahead and save. No more proceedings will be held for nobles today. The court has been closed. This decree is not subject to deliberation. The officers will escort you all out.
Fatebinder, thank you for answering my summons. This could very well be the defining hour of the conquest.
Pleasure is
Your
mine.
manners do you well. All the same, we are here for justice, not pleasantries. I first want to make it clear why we've assembled today. After the collapse of Vendrian's Well and the start of the Civil War, it became clear to me that there must have been some great fault on the part of the Archons. We come together to root out the source of our troubles and determine which of the Archons has sown more chaos during the war.
I can point to the culprit and spare us the discussion. This is the scum who brought down the voices. I hope it isn't your intention to arm yourself before a court of peaceful legal representatives, Commander, unless to offer amusement, as Blade and Mark flays you for our delight. He squints at Callio and slowly returns his weapon to its sheath. Tunon turns to aim what you can only assume is a stern look. He refocuses back onto you with cool stoicism.
Much has happened since I dispatched you on that mission.
Graven Ash and the voices of Nerat, the appointed generals of this war, are both dead. You were instructed with bringing justice to the unlawful, but you have clearly taken the law into your own hands. Glare silently.
The court has a serious problem to address. Your conduct throughout this campaign has come into question, and you will answer for your actions.
You've made quite a name for yourself, Fatebinder. Stories of your deeds have spread throughout the tiers, and all of them have reached this court. Some actions have consequences. We will see what your actions have wrought.
The court has its own charges to present, and invites you to answer for yourself.
Am I on trial, Your Honor?
Yes, and I would ready yourself to form a defense, because your testimony could augur your doom. The trial begins now. I recommend that you treat these moments with deserving gravity, as they might be your last. Don't attempt to lie or evade answers. I will judge you in the objective eyes of our overlord. Is that understood?
Yes, Your Honor.
At least your civility remains intact. You are on trial for transgressing on the Overlord's authority, breaking the laws of the Empire, bringing mayhem to an otherwise orderly conquest, and meddling in concerns that fell beyond your station. Our directive to bring Kairos' peace to the tiers has suffered, and you will answer for the part you played.
If you don't mind, Adjudicator, we are on familiar terms with the Fatebinder here. Should any inconsistencies require our input, we will add our voices as testimony. She nods to Rogalis and then turns to you with an unreadable expression.
The court has inquiries into your conduct. I first call your travel companions to speak on your behalf as witnesses to your character or accomplices to your crimes. Who will speak on behalf of the Fatebinder? Siren, Archon of Song. Give us your full report.
Of course, Your Honor. Your respect for a fellow Archon is duly noted. I thank you for asking me to add my input in this very delicate matter. I will endeavor to speak honestly and stick to the heart of the matter. After a lifetime of being degraded and humiliated for the amusement of others, the Fatebinder took an injured young woman and treated her as an equal. His behavior is beyond reproach. There is no equal in my eyes.
Will anyone else speak on the Fatebinder's behalf? Let the aged chronicler step forward.
If it may please the court, I will speak true. I have had the honor and privilege of shadowing the Archon. A dream come true for someone so eager to witness history in the unfolding. I can say, with conviction, I am following greatness.
And if required, I could produce my travel log to back my claims. I have noted the good with the bad, and I think you'll find the Archon has been a force of order and balance. Exactly what you should want from a Fatebinder.
Will anyone else speak on the Fatebinder's behalf? Let the Beast Woman come forward and offer testimony. I would hear her speak.
Archon barks orders at Beast Woman? Thinks kills in shadow will obey?
She cocks her head to one side and stares at the Archon for a long moment, her lips twisted with barely contained violence. Then, with a peeved huff, she lopes forward.
Thought Alpha would protect Beast Woman from Kairos. Thought was best chance to survive. But Alpha has still not proven self to kills in shadow. So now, him thinking maybe is because Alpha is weak. Is more like prey than predator. Yep.
Will anyone else speak on the Fatebinder's behalf?
Evidently not. The time has come for the Fatebinder to offer his testimony. And also, listen here, Kills in Shadow. Like, I just killed 2 freaking Archons and you're calling me weak? Jeez. You sent the Forge-bound Master to the Voices in Herat, where only Kairos knows what awful fate she suffered. She was under my protection. Your purpose was that it was a sacrifice for the good of the campaign. Between the conquest and the rebellion, we faced losses by the thousands already, and if the death of one smith can prevent even worse devastation, then I'll allow it. You entered the Old Walls, a clear violation of Kairos law. How do you answer for this perversion of justice? Do you think yourself above the law? Transgression was necessary to complete my tasks. The law stood in the path of Fatebinder. Callio shook her head in confusion. I hope you hear yourself, because that statement alone shows extraordinary contempt for our work. She looks to Tunon for approval. Tunon weighs the matter while studying you in silence.
I have one final question, Fatebinder. You were brought to this campaign to adjudicate the disagreements between the two armies. After your arrival, matters quickly escalated into a civil war. Did you knowingly join the conquest of the Tears to sow discord in your wake? Or were you merely a victim of circumstance? It's possible, even likely, that the Archons traveled south with their own agendas. I make no secret of the fact that the more worthy of the two would have inherited the Tears to rule as their domain under Kairos, and ambition got the better of them both. They were expected to conduct themselves in a professional manner, as were you.
Fatebinder Rogalis. Conduct aside, the fact that the Archon's corruption is an assumed fact speaks to the success of this Fatebinder's mission. I don't know about the rest of you, he glances toward the other Fatebinders, but I find that mildly encouraging.
I am finished with my line of questioning. Have you any closing remarks for the court? After everything, it falls to this. I expected more of you. Kairos expected more. The Tears and the Overlord's Legion are better rid of you. Prepare yourself for the Eternal Void.
Yeah, here's Blade and Mark. Blade and Mark emerges from the shadows behind you. He steps forward with purpose, his daggers drawn. Say nothing, prepare to fight. Okay. Are they both fighting me at the same time? Doesn't look like it. Okay, he just went invisible. Yeah, let's stick with Glory in battle. Use that on him.
From the record.
Beast cannot do as Alpha.
Pay attention, kids. You might learn something. Admit that from the record.
That Tunon levitating her?
Felt nothing.
He should be close to dead, like any minute now. Golden, glowering eyes wide with surprise, the Archon tumbles to the ground, coughing blood, as dark as the shadows that billow and ebb around him. He clutches at his shattered ribs and grins.
Look at you. The surprise of a lifetime.
He gasps, drowning as his lungs fill with blood. The light in his eyes dims as his pupils seep blackness, expanding to fill the whole of his eyes. A look of meaning passes between you, his fingers digging into the ground.
Don't die too easily. Won't look good for me. This brightness is blinding.
Alright, well there's 3.
My headsman. His life was not yours to take.
Behind Tunon's anger, you detect a more subtle reaction, disbelief.
This is your end, student. No mercy for traitors. Only the cold embrace of the grave.
Can I loot this? Doesn't look like I can. Alright, now is not the time to hold back. Blade Storm.
Your judgment will be severe.
Well, he is ripping me to shreds. Did you use the thing I told you to use? Looks like you did. Use that. Still stunned.
That attack didn't work.
Jeez. Give him a taste of his own medicine there.
I got it. You will pay for your crimes.
This weapon is entirely worthless.
Spread out. Use this poison.
Admit that from the record.
Will do.
Got him.
You have learned much in your few years, Archon. Striking down our kind is more than the swinging of a blade or pounding of a mallet. There are Kairos' laws, and the laws that govern our natural order. I fear they often diverge. I have broken the laws of nature for too long. Life should end in its course. And this is my time at last.
Through the pain, you can hear something like a satisfaction in Tunon's words.
Kairos is coming. An army army swifter and more dangerous than disfavored and Scarlet Chorus combined makes for the Tears, propelled by the Overlord's will. Your efforts here are wasted. You cannot halt this advance.
Tunon raises his arms up high and looks at the ceiling of his court. With a flash of arcane power, the Archon is no more. If you had told me this morning we were going to slay the oldest living Archon, I would have thought you mad. Sketching what remains of the Archon of Justice, Landstreet's hand moves with hurried excitement. I bet he never thought he'd be done in by one of his own Fatebinders. His downfall will make for a most amusing chapter of the Chronicle. Archon was not so tough. Like all creatures, grew weak from too many seasons. Was Primus' favored target for too long. Became weighted with too much arrogance. This is incredible, Fatebinder. We just destroyed Cairo's personal judge and executioner. If there's any doubt of your power, it's gone now. Rule of law. Face of judgment. Binding of shadows, which is heavy armor, of course. The armies in the north. It's come to your attention that Kairos has made good on his threat. Oh, is Kairos a him or a her? We've just been calling her a her for all this time. Armies march from the north with only one goal, the utter annihilation of the Tears. Fortunately, you have the Resonator of Vengeance well at your disposal. With it, you have the power to issue an edict and disrupt the Northern Kingdom. The final victory may yet be yours. Let me equip some stuff real quick. You get this. Faux show. Is that an actual mask? Yes, it is. I kind of want to wear it myself. I'm going to wear it myself.
This will be fun.
Wow, that's really good. Minus 10% all damage taken. Okay. Let me rest really quick, just in case I have to fight something. You want to talk? The beast woman squats on her haunches, back bowed and face tilted forward as she meticulously grooms the long, calloused fingers of one paw. A mauve tongue laves blood from her glistening claws. She glances up, a jerky, startled movement at your approach.
Human shadow mystic. Archon of darkness is dead. Kills and Shadow thinks this cannot be true. Shadows are strongest. Shadows lie, distort sun and sight with darkness, win with deceit. Fatebinder sees now. Blood of Archon called Tunon stains Fatebinder's hands. Kills and Shadow wants to lick blood, wants to judge power of dead Archon. Alpha to Kills and Shadow slayed disfavored called Graven Ash. Was best death, but Beast Woman would have liked to rend muscle from bone, rip torn skin, mauled and mangled more. Not much, just some more. Wanted to lap last drips of blood, swallow final cries of dying whimper. Wanted to watch die, more than 5 times over. Fatebinder wants Beast Woman?
Okay.
I got it.
Alright, so what does this give me? Should I really even be wearing it? Probably not. It just looks really cool. Okay. Back to the spire, where I'm going to proclaim an edict to destroy this army that's marching at me, I guess, is the plan. No matter what, we're probably swiftly approaching the end of the game, which I have thoroughly enjoyed. Issue an edict upon the Northern Kingdom. Lantry leveled up. More quickness. Voice of Ages.
I got it.
Just me. The waves of energy radiating from the spire draw you forward, pressing your body, mind. You're pressing your body and mind to its eager embrace. At the center of its tide, the resonator stands ready to broadcast your voice, echoing your commandments to the farthest reaches of the tiers and beyond. From here, the highest point in all peninsula, you could, with the sum total of your effort, project your will far north, past the edge of the tiers, and proclaim your edict as far as the lands of the Northern Empire. Any requests? How could you ask such a thing? I can't possibly make such a far-reaching decision. I'm sorry, you have much more options than you have convictions. Alpha should bite at foes with fire and blood, venom and darkness, want to watch fleeing humans lit as it flares in shadows, want to listen to death, yowls consumed by crackling flames. You want me to suggest the best way to destroy an entire nation? No, Fatebinder, I'll leave that decision up to you. Probably amounts to a declaration of war against the Overlord. This is new territory for us all. You're the first to strike a blow directly at the Overlord. Make sure it counts. Hope you don't mind if I stand back and take notes. By all means, continue. Thought Kairos was a much clever hunter, but now human Prima has challenged Alpha to kills in shadow. Has provoked Deadly Hunter to strike. You've done great things to get here. Just imagine what you could do if you continued on this vein. Show Kairos what we do to tyrants. I'm ready to stand at your side and see it through. That would be a repose for the ages. If it were up to me, we'd debate the matter until Kairos' forces were upon us. You'd better hurry. Spire waits at your command. The Northern Empire. I mean, the Edict of Fire has been an old favorite. Maybe I should do the Edict of Stone? Let's go with the Edict of Stone. I don't know if I'm going to have to go up there, or if this is just like the end of the game. I mean, it does seem like there are 5 more spires to get. Or maybe they're just like setting up for Tyranny 2. I don't know. Chorus of Victory, Act 3. Your Edict of Stone shakes the ground under the northern capital, a quake that builds in such ferocity that massive sinkholes open under the bustling city, swallowing whole districts. As citizens flee in terror, mages attempt to help but find their arcane powers dampened to the point of uselessness. Even as they cleave to falling structures or run from widening fissures, all wonder why Kairos offers no deliverance. As chaos ensued in the northern kingdoms, the armies marching on the tiers received an unprecedented order. The armies were to fall back to the capital and ensure the safety of its people from the edict. For the first time in Kairos' great conquest, the armies retreated. Soon questions would be asked in hushed breath across the lands about what new and terrible power had emerged that could force the hand of the Overlord. You fulfilled Kairos' decree, and now all the tiers is ruled by a single Archon. Your former rivals have either submitted to you or perished, bringing the civil war to a close. In their pride, the disfavored never imagined themselves beaten, especially when their opponents appeared so disorganized. The last remnants of the Legion dispersed, their general destroyed, their honor broken beyond mending. The scorn that follows their humbled ranks haunts them even in the depths of obscurity. The Scarlet Chorus, true to form, were quick to change allegiance once the voices of Narat died. They pledged their devotion to you, hoping to gain your favor. In the months following your victory, emissaries of the surviving gang bosses presenting offerings and totems of fealty, but without a devoted taskmaster to keep them in line, their flimsy power structure collapses, reducing the Scarlet Chorus to a whimper of its former strength. Under your guidance, those who resisted the conquest and sowed discontent are vanquished, their rebellion brought to a decisive end. Any lingering question of who is the true ruler of the Tears is answered by your impact on the reconstructed nation. Word of your success spreads beyond the Tears as well. Even the most distant corners of the Empire whisper of the Fatebinder who rose to become an Archon, and an Archon whose intervention shattered the conquest, making way for a new future in the devastated nation. While you managed to unite the Tears under a single banner through conquest, losing the support of the Overlord's armies makes the work of maintaining this order all the more difficult. Loyalties weaken and slip, but you make a point of taking a personal hand in the country's new governance. After time and struggle, the Tearsmen begin to see themselves as citizens of a unified land. With the Edict of Stone dispelled, the earth settles around the Stone Sea, ushering a new age of verdant growth and prosperity. The country may never resemble the glorious realm of Azure, but with new life, many new things become possible. The memory of Cairn, as a great force of destruction, remains a monument of inert rock. Most agree that the world is better off without the Archon of Stone, as the people of Azure begin to slowly reclaim the land that was once torn asunder by his power. With the Edict of Stone dispelled, you ensure the humans will once again populate the former realm of Azure. The Stonestalker tribe is gradually pushed out of their territory, and those who don't resist are enslaved, putting work to rebuilding new human settlements. The death of Radix is a huge blow to the disfavored. Without the support of the Mage Guild, the Legion finds itself outclassed for the first time and suffers on the battlefield. The Edict of Storms never stops its relentless assault on the ruins of mighty Stalwart. Sentinel's keep falls further into disrepair, the wind wall separating it from would-be conquerors. The fate of those inside the fortress still remains a mystery. You played the Censor's game and emerged victorious, retrieving the silent archive from the Vellum Citadel. When asked to turn it over, you decided it was better off in your possession instead. You sent the Censor to Cacophony as a gift for the voices of Narat. By taking the silent archive from his pedestal and disrupting the preservation spell holding the Vellum Citadel in stasis, you caused the collapse of the single largest repository of knowledge in Tyratus. The world may never know the true extent of the loss. Though the sages persist in wandering the Tears and gathering research, the loss of the Vellum Citadel proves too crippling a defeat. The scribes and mages seek opportunity away from their old home, a new refuge where they can start again, this time making sure that their knowledge doesn't fall into the wrong hands. The Scarlet Chorus rules Lethean's Crossing with signature cruelty. They perform regular midnight raids against homes or businesses, making examples of the locals and keeping dissenters in check. Locked doors and shuttered windows become the new standard of life as the citizens grow into their new sense of fear and paranoia. By returning the Mage Bane helm to Lethean's Crossing, you ensured the Bane would not be able to get into the city. For the time being, the threat of the Bane incursion is dispelled. The settlers are grateful to go about their lives unburdened by this peril, though knowing how close they came to annihilation haunts them. They hope that the security you provided endures. Sending the Forgebound Master to the voices of Narat strikes a heavy blow to the Forgebound, and the very art of smithing suffers terrible setbacks. It takes many years to recover or relearn the delicate subtlety of crafting fine weapons and arms. The Forgebound continue to create weapons, but their quality is suspect. By enacting an Edict of Vedrian's Well, you showed your power to the world and showed Cairo's forces what you were capable of. When you defeated their leader and scattered the army before you, it sent a message to Kairos. A new Archon is born. While the Edict dissipated, its effect will always be felt as the first true threat to Kairos' rule. The death of Graven Ash means the end of the disfavored. Without the comfort and support of the great general, what remains of the Legion sinks into hopelessness. The Archon's seat is left vacant, and whether or not it can be occupied again is a heated topic. Far from his place of final rest, the Northern Empire mourns its fallen son. Killing the voices of Narat spreads the joy of bloody vengeance across the continent. Celebrated as the death of history's greatest parasite, the occasion is marked by all who suffered under the oppression of the Scarlet Chorus. Even in victory, one thought nags you. Though you witness his death, you can't help but wonder if the voices of Narat is done with you. With the death of Tunon the Adjudicator, the bastard city threatens to slide back into its lawless ways. Keeping the peace and imposing a new definition of order commands all your focus. You learn to delegate the responsibilities to a new court of Fatebinders, who lighten the burden and make the Archon's absence a manageable setback. The death of Bladen Mark deprived the world of a most capable murderer. One less bedtime story to scare children is no significant loss, even though you can't help but glance at the dark corners of every room and feel as if something is watching you. Bladen Mark will always cast a long shadow on your life. Disgusted by your support for the Scarlet Chorus, Barrick excused himself from your company and kept himself at a distance from your war. The most you ever hear of him are reports of panicked gangs who speak of a statue of living iron that hunted them across battlefields. To the best of your knowledge, he hunts to this day. Verse finds herself adrift in the relative peace that follows your conquest. She returns to the fields and seeks out young women from rural communities, imparting her fighting skills to only the most passionate. Over the course of many apprentices, she follows the voices of Narat's example and forms a personal army, the Callous Sisterhood. Verse proves to be a strict teacher, and you hire her services often, confident that she'll take any assignment where there's blood to be spilled. Lantry shifts focus from writing about your accomplishments and spends more time with your spires, contemplating their mystery and unraveling their secrets. The research he uncovers about your stronghold proves invaluable. Some days you feel as if there are few secrets the old librarian has not already learned. With quiet satisfaction, Lantry persists in working, his wandering days behind him. Exhausted from fighting, Ebbs shifts her focus to the broken school of Tidecasters. She recruits as many talented students as possible, but apprentices are difficult to find in the tense post-war tiers. The few who are drawn to her teachings show promise, and Ebb has little doubt that the Tidecasters can return to their former strength in less than a decade or two. The going will be hard for some time, though. With no desire to remain in the company of humans, Kills in Shadow returns to the wilderness and seeks out her own kind. She discovers a haggard community of beastmen who abandoned the realms of Haven and Azure, only to be enslaved by Kairos forces. Out of this rabble of defectors, she forges a tribe of their nomadic ways, respecting no established border or law. They raid villages and caravans when possible, glutting on spoils and boasting of their severed ties with the human world. Though a large bounty follows in the tribe's wake, no human can survive the hunt for its leader. Without the threat of the Overlord's control, Siren struggles with how to manage her freedom. Inspiration finally strikes her, and she travels the tiers, visiting small villages ravaged by Kairos occupations. She sings to the frightened and hurt villagers, buoying their spirits and allaying their fears. Guilt for her hand and the horrors wrought upon the world by the Scarlet Chorus spur her on, and her wonders become more and more spectacular. Followers of the songbird grow in number, taking the message of peace and harmony throughout Taratus. Though you once professed loyalty to Kairos, popular belief holds that the world cannot support two overlords, and you now represent a threat to the established order. This leaves your future in question, but with one certainty: when Kairos retaliates, you will be ready. From your perch atop the ancient spire, you can see hints of the Northern Empire just beyond the mountains. At your command, horns shout a triumphant cry across the valley, heralding the end of one long campaign and the beginning of another. And that's Tyranny, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly did. I really enjoyed this game. If you liked this video and this series, feel free to like this video and even go back and rewatch the whole thing. Start back at the beginning. Also, subscribe to the channel so you can see when I put up new videos. Likely the next series to come after this is, I think I'm going to do an XCOM 2 Long War series. Let's speed that up. But yeah. Also, leave a comment. Tell me if you've played through the game and what class did you go? What ending did you go for? What achievements did you get along the way? But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I want to get to the end of this real quick and see if there's anything at the end. Sorry to all these people in the credits. I'm sure you did amazing work on this fantastic game, but I just wanted to see if there's anything else. There's not. So thank you guys so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time.